Hy-Vee. Score big savings at HyVeeDeals.com. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular. Take the phones down for 5 challenge. Visit uscellular.com/fines to learn more. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our final Hawk Talk of this basketball season with Iowa coach Fran McCaffery. Fran will be joining us here in just a few minutes, but I'm Gary Dolphin. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Bobby Hansen is under the weather. He is not going to be joining us tonight. I talked to Bobby earlier today. He wasn't feeling very good yesterday. Of course, none of us were feeling good after the game, but Bobby was battling a bad head cold and only got worse overnight, so he begged off today. I said, certainly, get ready for Thursday because the madness is here. March Madness has arrived. How about the Hawkeye women? Let's get that right out there front and center. Congratulations to Coach Bluter, Coach Jensen, and the entire staff, for that matter, and obviously the Hawkeye women's basketball team for that resounding victory over the Ohio State Buckeyes in the championship game of the women's tournament yesterday at the Target Center in Minneapolis. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Spencer Lee, I know you got a round of applause for Spencer Lee and Real Woods and the Hawkeye wrestlers that did so well, finished second to Penn State in Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan. So it was a great weekend for Hawkeye athletics. The baseball team 9-1 after a 3-game sweep at the South Alabama Invitational, and the gymnastics team won the latest chapter of the Cy-Hawk series, beating Iowa State Friday night over at Carver Hawkeye Arena before 3,500 fans. A great turnout for Coach Larissa Libby, and on it goes. So it's a very successful period for Iowa athletics. Unfortunately, the Nebraska Cornhuskers shot the ball better than the Hawks did yesterday to the tune of 58%. And held off Iowa 81-77 in the season ender at Carver Hawkeye Arena. The Hawks did a lot of things well, whether it be rebounding, turning the Huskers over, but in the end, Nebraska just shot the lights out. And you know, you have those days where the opponent shoots better than you do in your building. So you tip your cap to Coach Hoiberg and the Huskers and move on. It's a brand new season. Everybody's 0-0, as they say. The playoffs are here. March Madness has arrived, and it all starts actually on Wednesday. The Hawkeyes' first taste of the Big Ten tournament. The defending Big Ten champion Hawkeyes will play their first game on Thursday afternoon at 1:30. Our pregame coverage starts at 12:30 from the United Center in Chicago. By then, we'll know, is it Ohio State or is it Wisconsin? They play in the preliminary round or the first round on Wednesday evening at 5:30 in Chicago, to be followed by Minnesota and Nebraska. And then the first game out of the gate on Thursday at 11 a.m. is Rutgers against Michigan. That's the 9-8 seed game. The Hawkeyes are the 5th seed, number 5 seed, and will play either Ohio State or Wisconsin, the winner of that 12 and 13 seeded game. Penn State gets Illinois in its opening round game. And then the winner of Minnesota-Nebraska faces Maryland in the finale on Thursday. Now, the 4 byes go to top seed Purdue, number 2 seed Northwestern, number 3 seed Indiana, and 4 seed Michigan State. Should the Hawks be fortunate enough to win their first game, they would take on the Spartans on Friday afternoon, again around 1:30. But lots to happen between now and then, and we're going to review the Nebraska game with Coach in a little bit and take a look at what lies ahead immediately for Iowa and the rest of the postseason madness. So here we go. Thanks for joining us here on Hawk Talk. You can reach us on Twitter or through our Facebook page. On Twitter, it's real simple, at Gary Dolphin. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We've got, of course, another great house, another great crowd here tonight. We appreciate everybody coming out, not only this evening, but each and every Monday and or Wednesday night throughout the year, depending on the Hawkeye basketball schedule. And here we are 31 games later, and the Hawks are sitting there at 19-12. and finished the Big Ten slate at 11 victories and 9 defeats. Another first division, upper division finish in the Big Ten. So congratulations to Coach McCaffery and his Hawkeyes. Of course, we're here, have been here each and every week at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville's Edgewater Grill and Bar. And you can enjoy extended happy hour until 8:30 this evening. And they're also excited to announce their full guest room renovation in the spring of 2023, inspired by the Iowa City area's rich literary culture and the natural beauty of the Iowa River, which, by the way, the Hyatt sits on. The updated guest rooms will be refreshed from top to bottom and feature all new modern furnishings, extra-large televisions, and new technology throughout. The renovation also includes a refreshed dining experience with an all-new restaurant and expanded coffee shop to include a market for items on the go. The Hyatt team, headed up by Matt Trato, looks forward to sharing these exciting updates with the community as the spring of 2023 wears on. And, of course, we're officially into spring on March 21, but let's jump the gun a little bit. Matt here, Matt Trato joins us, and I've seen a few tweaks and twists and turns and a few mortar chunks chipped out of the walls here, Matt, the last few weeks of February and the first week or two of March. When do the jackhammers come in?
You know what? The jackhammers are going right now. So,
good.
You know, this Friday, the first phase is done. Our fitness center, which will be about 2 times the size of the previous fitness center, will roll out, and it has all the state-of-the-art equipment. And right now, the 7th floor of the guest rooms are in the demo phase. So if you're here midday, you're going to hear the jackhammering going on. The 8th floor, which was the first floor to go under renovation, that actually rolls out to the public on March 24th, which is a Friday. So we will have 2 more suites involved in that. So we have the presidential up there, plus 2 additional suites that we're adding to our inventory. So
terrific.
When VIPs like you, Gary, and others come into town, you'll be able to experience the all-new Hyatt Regency hotel.
Well, you're off and running behind closed doors then. I'm anxious to hear about the Edgewater Grill and Bar facelift. We were talking about that a few weeks ago, but you're going to expand everything, knock out a few walls, make it bigger, and make it more like a 5-star restaurant, which it is now. But when does that all get underway?
Yeah, so we had the final experts in this past week to kind of put their final touches on what kind of equipment we need as far as an upgrade is concerned. But the design is set. It's out there. The ordering is coming in. So we're hoping that on April 1st or close to, this will go under the knife. We will close it down and we'll set up a temporary restaurant somewhere while we build this out. It's going to feature this area that we're in right now will be modified so we can have happy hours, and it's going to be the place to come here at 5 o'clock after work. But also, as you move into the dining area, it will be elevated. We have some great partners up the hill with some great restaurants, and we don't want to compete with them. We want to be partners with them, and we feel that our chef, one of them has been here for 15, 16 years. The other one's won some awards with Marriott's. So we're excited to have them really pour into the culinary experience that we have here, which will allow us to elevate some of our steaks and seafoods in addition to some of the regular restaurant food that you see. So super excited about that. Our goal is to have this restaurant open back up July 1 or soon after. So we're ready to go for the fall season.
How appropriate, and that's great news because you obviously know this. You're in the happening area here, not the peninsula, but the turnaround, the roundabout out there distributes vehicles to Extreme Arena, to the other great restaurants and hotels and your neighbors, as you say. This is an incredible rebirth, an incredible redevelopment, an incredible ongoing project, this Coralville River, Iowa River Landing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, super excited, and we're hoping to host. It looks like we're going to be hosting the Fran McCaffery show again next year. So we're excited about that, and then we can bring that experience, to everyone listening, and also people that come in and visit our new restaurant. I can't announce the name yet because we are going to have a relaunch, as I've mentioned a few weeks ago. We're going to have that out there and have an official announcement here probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I would say. And then you'll start seeing a lot of that on social media and also, within the papers and things like that.
We were talking about Dolph's Dining, but that didn't make the cut.
I wanted it. I voted for it, but those Minnesotans and Wisconsin people that also had the input, they'd be
running the other way. I know, but in the meantime, you continue to have great conventions. You had the Collins Aerospace folks here, 200 or 300 a couple weeks ago. Heartland Express, I understand, was just here.
They were.
Did they have all the 18-wheelers pulled out up front?
They not all of them, just a few.
Great. Well, thanks for hosting us all year, Matt. We really appreciate your
appreciate having
hospitality,
you guys
bud. And I'm going to mention your Easter weekend, Easter Sunday, tremendous fair you have going here. We'll throw that out there in a couple minutes. Okay,
Perfect.
Thanks,
Sounds
Matt.
Good. Thank you very much.
Matt Trato, the general manager here at the Hyatt. Thanks, Matt, for all your support. And we look forward to a continuing relationship here with Hawk Talk and Coach Fran McCaffery. As for celebrating Easter, you can bring the family to the Hyatt Regency Coralville's Breakfast with the Bunny on Saturday, April 8th. That's the day before Easter Sunday. 10 a.m. to noon. Enjoy all your breakfast favorites, plus a pancake bar, made-to-order omelets, a cereal bar, and carved Easter ham. There's also a bar for the adults to enjoy mimosas and Bloody Marys with the option of a $10 wristband for bottomless drinks. After, the kids can take part in the Easter egg hunt, jump in the bounce house, take photos with the Easter Bunny, and more. Tickets can be purchased by calling the team here at Hyatt, the Hyatt team, at 319-887-5004. 319-887-5004. I'd do it first thing tomorrow, though, because those tickets will be gobbled up quickly. Hawkeye basketball again on Thursday at the Big Ten Tournament. The Hawks will take on the winner of Wednesday night's game between Ohio State and Wisconsin. Our final Hawk Talk program will continue in just a minute here from the Edgewater Grill and Bar. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I think you...
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now, kids can eat free.
We're back. March Madness is here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Welcome to Hawk Talk with Coach Fran McCaffery, sponsored by the Hyatt Regency and the Edgewater Grill and Bar. We're here until 8:30 tonight, so come on out and join us if you care. If you're in the neighborhood, we'd love to host you. The Hawkeyes saw their 9-game winning streak against Nebraska in Carver Hawkeye Arena come to an end yesterday as the Huskers ambushed the Hawks 81-77. It was a game that was back and forth all afternoon long, like most games in the Big Ten seemingly this year. The Huskers led by 4 at the half, and the Hawkeyes got the lead to 7, or excuse me, Iowa led by 4 at the half, got the lead to 7 midway through the second half, and looked to be in pretty good shape at 62-55. But this freshman, Jamarcus Lawrence, was hot from the perimeter. Iowa did a great job of covering up Keisei Tamanaga and Sam Griesel, their 2 leading scorers, especially in the second half. Griesel was on fire in the first half. Nebraska was, for that matter. They hit 6 of their first 7 shots, including 4 3-point goals to build the lead ultimately to 9 before the Hawkeyes rallied from that 18-9 deficit when Patrick McCaffery and Peyton Sanford hopped off the bench, and they started raining in threes. Patrick, in particular, he would hit 6 of 10 shots on the day, including 6 of 10, excuse me, from 3. And Patrick McCaffery helped rally the Hawkeyes. They hit 3 straight threes to get the game tied at 18, and from there it was punch, counter punch, seemingly the rest of the day, with the Hawks losing 81-77. So the Hawks are the 5 seed heading into the Big Ten tournament this week over in Chicago at the United Center. Been a couple years since we've been to the United Center, but Iowa's had great success there, even won a championship there back in the early 2000s. Won 1 and won 2 of those in Indianapolis, including last year with Bohannon and Keegan Murray and the crew. So Iowa finishes the regular season at 19-12 and 11-9 in the Big Ten. That snapped a 7-game home win streak for the Hawks yesterday. Iowa finished its home schedule at 14-3. Patrick McCaffery with a team-high 23 points. That really is the highlight for me yesterday coming out of that game. Patrick looks to be fully back now and hitting in sync, running at a high gear, and that's great news. Another added weapon back in the lineup for Iowa headed to Chicago. The Hawks made 12 threes yesterday, 9 in the first half. With All-American candidate Chris Murray scoring 22 points. It was the 15th time that Chris Murray reached 20 points plus this season for his Hawkeyes. Patrick McCaffery with a team-high 23. He sank a career-high 6 triples. That equals the most by a Hawk this season. Peyton Sanford had 6 against number 15 Indiana. The Hawks now have made a combined 42 threes over their last 3 games, 17 versus Michigan State, 13 at number 15 Indiana last week, middle of last week, and 12 against the Huskers yesterday. So they're doing a lot of things well. They're rebounding the ball well, and I bring that up because heading into postseason play, rebounding and shooting are obviously two vital areas where you have to be on cue, on par, if you are to advance. Nebraska just shot the ball better yesterday. The Hawks had 21 offensive rebounds and really outpointed Nebraska significantly in the second points chance area and turned the Huskers over 14 times, scoring 11 more points off turnovers. But in the end, Nebraska holds on for the 81-77 victory. Nebraska's been playing really well here of late, especially in the month of February. The Huskers were 5-2 in the month of February, and will head to Chicago with a lot of momentum. They get Minnesota as their draw on Wednesday night. Hawk Talk tonight with Coach McCaffery is sponsored by Authentic Brand. Now, you've got a chance to submit an interesting question for Fran every week, but this is our final show, so tonight's your last shot and a chance to win a $100 gift certificate for Hawkeye gear from our friends at Authentic Brand, a great Iowa company over in Perry, headed up by Clark Fessler. We'll announce the winner a little bit later on. We've got a full board of Twitter and Facebook posts that we'll get right to after our next break. So as far as Authentic Brand, thanks for their support. We've given out a $100 gift certificate each week on Hawk Talk. Authentic Brand is a proud partner, not only outfitting our broadcast team, but outfitting thousands of fans on game day. Gear up for game day and every day in officially licensed Hawkeye apparel and accessories from Authentic Brand. U.S. Cellular is bringing locally grown connections all season long with any phone free for new and current customers. That's right, any phone for free. Coach joins us when we come back here to the Hyatt Regency and the Edgewater Grill and Bar. That's next on Hawk Talk from Learfield.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
At U.S. Cellular, we think phones are great, but they're not always great for us. Because while they connect us to so much, they can also distract us from, well, us. The us that actually laughs out loud with each other instead of just texting it. That knows being in the same room doesn't always mean being together. So let's find us again by putting our phones down. Not forever, just for 5. 5 days, 5 hours, even 5 minutes. Join U.S. Cellular in the Phones Down for 5 challenge. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
Woo! Got my nachos, got my big TV, and my favorite chair. It's game time. But you know, the only thing that would make it a little better is if I could listen to my local broadcasters while watching the game.
Hello. You must have wished for your game to be synced with TV and radio.
I sure did.
Do you have a DVR?
You bet.
Do you have a streaming device?
Yeah.
Blammo! Your game is now synced. It's that easy.
Oh, boy.
To see if you can get synced, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield.
Syncmygame.com?
Syncmygame.com.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. It's no wonder Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com named Honda the 2022 Best Value brand.
So get to your Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest.
Based on 2022 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information.
Hey, let's welcome in Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery here to the Hawk Talk program, our final show of this season. Lots of basketball left, but we'll be here until 8:30 tonight and taking your tweets and your Facebook posts. Once again, you can reach us on Twitter for Coach at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Well, let's start with the game yesterday, Fran. The Hawks performed admirably in a number of areas. Offensive rebounding, can't gloat about that enough. And Nebraska just shot the lights out of the ball. But I liked your defensive strategy. Griesel and Tamanaga, I think, maybe had one basket each in the second half. They got away a little bit at the start of the game, but they just shot the lights out. But your defensive adjustments, I thought, were right on. Who knew Lawrence was going to go off for 4 or 5 threes over the course of the game? And then Sam Hoiberg and others stepped up for Coach Fred.
Yeah, you got to give them credit because, I mean, obviously if you play them, you're going to lock into – it starts with Derek Walker, one of the best players in our league. You know, he's a 7th year out of high school. Really mature guy, really mature game, 6'9", 250. Philip did a pretty good job on him. He only had 9 points. Griesel, the grad transfer, really good player, big and strong, 6'7", about 220, 225, plays the point. He hit 3 threes in the first half, really got going, and then we did a good job on him in the second half. And then Tominaga hit a couple buckets early, and then really didn't do much after that. And he's probably as hot a player as there is in our league. He was averaging like 22 a game over the last 7 games. Scores in a variety of ways. You look at him, he's not a big guy, so you think he's going to shoot nothing but threes because he's a really good three-point shooter, but he's shooting between 60 and 70% on twos. He back cuts and curl cuts and shoots floaters and runners. So you really put the pressure on the other guys to make shots. Now, Lawrence has gotten a chance to play a lot. He's a really good shooter. He's a really good player. He and Sam Hoiberg have gotten a chance to play when the other 2 guys got hurt.
Right.
So in the beginning, there was an adjustment period for those 2, but now as they've gotten to play more, they're playing well and gaining confidence, as is Breidenbach. Because they were playing Breidenbach and Cada. Cada got hurt, so now it's Breidenbach. And, he's a guy that, he'll throw a 3 in. He throws a jump hook in. He's tough. He's 6'10", 6'11". And then C.J. Welcher is a very good player. The transfer from Xavier was a really good player for them last year.
He whacked a couple threes.
He hit a couple. So it was Hoiberg and Wilcher and Breidenbach and Lawrence on top of, Tominaga hit, I think, 1 in the first half, and then Griesel hit 3 in the first half. So now you're shooting. Now you make 14 threes because you have to figure out. Okay, you do the math. We have 21 more shots, 21 offensive rebounds. We only turned it over 6 times. They had 15.
Over 15.
We turned them over 15 times. So, the math should work that we win. Now, we missed a couple shots late. We got the tough call at the end. I thought it should have been an N1. Now, we still would have been down 1.
Right.
But I think, with 48 seconds, you're down 1 instead of an offensive foul, and you're down 4.
Chance to set up your defense.
And I thought that was definitely that should have been an N1.
11 more points off turnovers. Second chance points was lopsided, 31-11 in Iowa's favor. Bench outscored them by 13. So,
but our defense and our ability to stay connected was not what it needs to be for this reason. Nebraska does a really good job of scoring late in the shot clock, so they're going to run continuous. That's one of the reasons why we press them. So that way, there's less time you have to guard all the stuff. Pitch, dribble handoff, screen roll, replace, Detroit action. They run all kinds of stuff, and they keep the post open, and the 5-man is the trigger man. So now you have, if you overplay the shooters, they curl the post and run right in. They're cutting right to the basket. There's nobody there. So it really stretches your defense, not just the guy guarding the ball, not just the guy who's cutting, but it's all 5 players. So if you turn your head, and that's what happened a couple times to Tony. He turned his head and was trying to help, and then lost his man for a second, and they find you. They're a pretty good passing team. Derek Walker's a really gifted 5-man. Like, when you have a 5-man that is the trigger man in an open post offense, he's a passer.
Yeah.
He has 91 assists. Like, when you look at a lot of big guys like this year, last year, Travion Williams, he was a great passer. Zach Edey was horrendous last year.
Pretty good.
Now he's a lot better. Okay, he worked on that, and he got better at it. Cliff Amore struggles big time with it. He'll get better. And that's what happens to a lot of guys. When you start looking down, a lot of times you look at the 5-man and say, okay, what are his assist turnover numbers? Well, he's got, 14 assists in 38 turns. Terrible assist turnover ratio and not a lot of assists. So that means when they throw him the ball, he's going to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's information that you can use and say, okay, we're going to double this guy. We're going to run at this guy because he's not passing. But when you look down and you say, okay, wait a minute, he's got 101 assists, like Stephen Crowell from Wisconsin. He's probably up in the 90s as well. Different guys are utilized in different ways. Trace Jackson Davis, when he was a freshman, he was as bad as you could be out of a double team. We go down there and play him 2 games ago. He's got 101 assists.
finds
You
the
know, so
open
you give
teammate.
him credit because, you know, he came back. You know, he probably would have gotten drafted, Trace, you know, maybe mid-40s to low 50s last year. You know, you don't really want to leave the college game, you know, to be a second-round pick. You want to leave for guaranteed money and a guaranteed roster spot. So he came back to essentially complete the picture. You know, he could score and rebound with the best players in the country. Well, now he's dropping 101 assists. So now if you're an NBA team, you're like, okay, we can use this guy in a variety of different ways that we weren't sure that we could. And that's what really good college players have to do. And that's what Garza did, if you remember, Dolph.
Very much
so.
so.
Even the year he was Big Ten Player of the Year, he was a pretty good three-point shooter.
Sure.
But his senior year, he shot 44%. And that really helped him in terms of the eyes of NBA scouts that were looking at him and saying, boy, he can score in a low post. He's going to run. He's going to compete. He's going to shoot 44% from three. You know, his ball screen defense was dramatically better. When he first got to Iowa, he struggled with that big time. We were trying to hard hedge. That was really hard for him. So we got him in great shape. Actually, he got himself in great shape. I'll give him credit there. But we started going with a flat shadow, and he would slide his feet and get his arms out and triple his width, and there was no downhill penetration. That kept him a little bit closer to the roll man, and he's long, and so we didn't get hurt by that. You know, sophomore year we got hurt a little bit on screen roll situations. So as he progressed through his college career, he became a complete player, and that's what you're seeing. You know, the big guys in our league do right now, because they all want to get to that next level.
And Derek Walker is the latest example that you ran into. He had 9 points, but 8 assists and 12 rebounds. I mean, his stat line was like Connor's.
He could easily be a first-team All-League player. There's so many guys. When you say, okay,
big guys, Jim.
You know, we just voted for all Big Ten. It's like, wow, there's so many good players, and there's so many players that are similar, not only in terms of what your impression of them is, but statistically, they're close. You know, to me, you know, I thought there might have been 5 guys that separated, you know, and you know, to me, and obviously, Edie, Chris, Trace, Jalen Pickett, and then I think Boo Buie.
No question.
The way he's playing, I mean, that kid, he's always been good. This year, he has been elite. And that's why they're winning. That's why they're winning the way they are.
Well, I watched a little bit of. I got home in time to watch Rutgers and Northwestern.
Rutgers really fought hard, but they just struggled offensively. They couldn't get anything going. They had no consistency. They were battling defensively. And again, Northwestern, they run the clock down. So they come down the floor, and they'll call something, or they'll run some action. It's more action than it is calls. And they keep you on defense. And, you know, it's going to be Boo Buie, Chase Audige. I mean, primarily
Ty Berry.
Run some stuff for Ty Berry. He has some shots, you're right. And then Barnheiser has really taken the next step. And that has been a big difference in their team this year. That's why they have 21 wins. Because now they have, you know, he comes off the bench. And he can get 15, 16.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Robbie Barron is a veteran guy. He's a good player. Hit a huge 3 last night. But the play of Matt Nicholson for them has been a game changer. And, you know, in some ways almost better than what they had last year. Everybody thought they were going to be dead and buried when, you know, Pete Nance transferred to North Carolina and Ryan Young transferred to Duke. And both of those guys are playing at those places. They're better with Matt Nicholson. And I don't think anybody would have said that 3 or 4 months ago.
I mean, for a 7-footer and as young as he is, he's got great instincts. I mean, he really.
All he does is be physical defensively. He runs the floor. He guards ball screens, and he catches and dunks it. He's not shooting a sky hook or step back threes. You know, he throws the ball to those guys. He screens and rolls, and if you help at all, they just pitch it to the rim.
Right back.
And he just punches it.
He just hangs out in the lane.
And he's got to be every bit of 270.
You know, and listed him at 250.
He's not as stiff.
He looks bigger than that.
Yeah, he's physical, and he's wide, and those guys don't usually have bounce. And not that you need a lot of bounce when you're 7 feet tall and you have long arms.
True.
But he goes and gets it.
He runs the floor,
he
too.
Does.
I mean, he really
works.
He's a great find for Chris Collins.
Yeah.
But watching
they developed him.
Yeah.
He was not heavily recruited. I give that kid credit. He was not heavily recruited. A lot of people didn't want him. And quite frankly, he wasn't very good when he got there.
He is now.
And they worked with him, Chris and Taylor Battle and McIntosh and Brian James. That staff really, really worked. Chris Lowry, he's new this year. But
watching them last night, Coach, it brought back that line that you've heard 1,000 times over your career is you got to have great guard play to go deep in the NCAA tournament. Is that still legit?
Yeah. Because once you get to the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament, the games are all close. You don't see many blowouts. And so you have to be able to take care of the ball. You have to execute your offense coming down the stretch. And you have to be able to defend the other team's guards that are going to be trying to get downhill and execute against you. I mean, every team in our league has really good guards. And, it's all about penetration and being able to push it and score in transition. But even if you're a walk it up, because you have some teams now, like this is a cool thing about our league in some ways. Us and Michigan State, some teams really push the ball and run, makes and misses, we get it and go. Others, the ball goes through the net, it bounces 3 times, one of their coaches holds up a sign, calls up play, they come down and they run that play. They're much more methodical, and they try to carve you up with executing their set actions. And it's hard to scout because, they might run 30 plus, 40 plays in a game. And it might be different than the ones they ran in the last game. And so even though you might see the call or hear the call, but normally they don't call anything out. They just look over and they see what it says. And you can pick that up maybe on film. But now you're relying on 5 defenders to also look over and see the call, register the call, and say, okay, we're going to play that, we're going to guard this way. So oftentimes we're defending actions as opposed to a set play. So what does that mean? Okay, that means middle ball screen handoff. They call that Detroit. So like when Bowie goes through, he'll come off a down screen and get a dribble handoff. So now you got to decide, you're going to switch the first screen. You can switch the last one, but that's usually going to be 5-1. You usually don't switch 5-1 ball screens. We have done that because Phil can do that.
Yeah.
It's harder for a guy like Edey to switch and, guard Bowie. But by the same token, we sometimes switch the other way, and Tony Perkins will guard their big guy. That's really hard when it's Zach Edey and he's 7'5".
Coach, you mentioned Philip Rebracha, and I'm looking at Connor's line yesterday. It was senior day, of course, was where I'm going with this. And every time I look at Connor's line, I just shake my head, marveling. And the numbers are always different. But yesterday might have been the all-time capper for me. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, and 1 turnover. And I'm thinking after on the drive.
And by the way, you know what that turnover was? It was the charge. He didn't throw it away.
Right. That counts as a turnover.
That counts as a turnover. I'm thinking he didn't turn the ball over all day. I'm thinking, wait a minute, he did. So that should have been an and one. So he would have been in double figures, and it would have had no turnovers.
I thought he was going to leave the building after he missed his second free throw. I mean, he gets so upset. But I'm looking at that line. I'm going, that's who he is, and that's who he's been.
Yeah, and he was really tough defensively on a day when we weren't as tough as we needed to be, quite frankly. Yeah, we were not. And we've got to learn from that. We've got to be better than that. He was terrific. I thought Philip was really doing a terrific job.
10 and 7.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think after that, we didn't have much going defensively. And, of course, Chris had 22 and Patrick had 23. And we did some great things.
Yeah.
But we were not what we needed to be yesterday.
Well, that's my next question. You did offensive rebounding, but offensive rebounding in particular. Rebounding's been steady, particularly on the offensive glass here in the tail end of the year. You're turning teams over, 15 turnovers for Nebraska. So in your conversations today with the guys, what do you build on? What do you take to Chicago? What's
the first thing you have to do is analyze that game and address that game with the players in an honest way, not in a negative way. We're not in there ripping guys' faces off and pointing fingers. That's not going to get anybody. That's not going to do anybody any good. But you have to hold them accountable. Okay, look at this play. That can't happen. That right there cannot happen. If we're going to continue to win and advance in the Big Ten tournament, the NCAA tournament, we cannot make that play. You know, there's a back pick screen to screener. We call that Iowa action. So screen to screener. So we got two guys chasing one, and the other guy's open. You know, things like that. There's got to be better communication on that, and more physicality, quite frankly. So we were good, and so, but not as consistently good as we needed to be to win a two-possession game.
Sounds like a plan. Anthony, coach on Twitter, what is the team schedule like during both of these tournaments, the Big Ten and NCAA? How do you balance media availability with practice? Are there limitations on practice time during the postseason?
No, there's not limits. But if you're a sensible coach, you're going to be doing probably a lot more meetings and a lot more shooting than you are going to a 2-hour practice. Obviously, once we know who we're playing, we'll do our typical scouting report information. So today, for example, we're not 100% sure who we're going to play, so we're not going to address that, right? We're not going to say, okay, let's study Ohio State, let's study Wisconsin. No, because that's too much information. They'll get confused. So we'll wait on that. So today we work on ourselves. We watch the film. We talk about things we need to improve on. Did a little with the break. Got a lot of shots up. Some of the guys were a little sore. Get in the training room. Tomorrow we'll practice. We'll work on our stuff. And then we'll get on a bus and we'll go down to Chicago. We'll practice Wednesday at UIC. And we'll have a regular practice there. Again, won't be long, but it won't be 20 minutes either. We'll get up and down, get a sweat, and then get ready for Thursday. We'll go over and we'll watch the first half of that game. Obviously, our coaches will scout the game, but the players will watch the first half.
Sure.
And then we'll go eat and get ready to play the next day.
No shoot-around allowed at the United Center for the teams.
Well, they'll give you a short period of time. So depending upon when it is, like if we're playing a real early game, we're not going to do a 7:30 a.m. shoot-around like that.
Yeah.
But at some point, we'll have shoot-around opportunities, especially as teams get eliminated. Like last year, we would go over and shoot and stuff like that because you're playing a night game, and there's not as many teams that have to get in there.
Gotcha. One more here, Coach, before we take a break. Chuck, and it pertains to senior days or or nights are always emotional for players, coaches, and families. Particularly with Connor this year, how did the family handle it? It had to be very emotional for you and Margaret and the family. This is from Chuck and Clinton.
Yeah, it's always emotional for families. I mean, I remember, Dolph, and you remember when we didn't have senior day. We honored the players at the banquet.
Right.
And then it became a thing where every school that I've been to, would present a framed jersey or something, and the parents would come out and the mom would get flowers. And I still remember, I was coaching at Siena. We had a really important game. Like this was incredibly meaningful. Kind of like yesterday.
Yeah,
there's a lot at stake for both teams.
Yeah.
And the players are coming on the floor, and everybody's crying. Like the players and the parents, I'm like, we got to tee it up here in a couple minutes. We don't need to be crying.
We got to hit jump
now.
shots here.
We got to make a play. You got to knock somebody on there. You know what? So, but it's gotten to the point where, we recognize too. Sam Close and Ben Sheridan, the two managers are just so incredible.
Class people.
And Gary.
Very well.
And so we want to recognize those guys in a big way. And then, Philip and Connor have been so important to this team. It's very emotional. Margaret was crying, of course.
Yeah. That's what moms do on a day like yesterday.
I was close, but I didn't.
You kept it together.
I kept it together. All right, let's go.
It was
put the jersey over there. Let's see. Let's go.
Come on. It's
but the crowd
time.
was great. I mean, and every year we've done this since I've been here. Our crowds have been incredibly supportive and responsive. It was so great, for Philip to be recognized that way. I remember the very first one. It was Jared Cole, right? I mean,
Jared Cole upset Purdue that day.
Unbelievable captain.
He was. Some great
my
ones.
first year. You're walking into a difficult situation. Guys, are they staying? Are they going? Who's staying? Who's around? You need that kind of leadership. I had Jared, and I had Matt Gatens. So those two guys
That's a pretty good
place to start
double
right
duo.
there.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, Coach, good stuff. We'll take a break, come back with more of your tweets and Facebook posts here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. We're at the Hyatt Regency. We're sponsored by the Hyatt Regency as well as other great Hawkeye sponsors like Iowa Corn. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Take a closer look and you'll discover the many connections you have to corn. And those connections translate into wins for farmers and wins for all Iowans. Share your winning moments using the hashtag #IowansWin. And we're back to the Edgewater Grill and Bar in just a minute on Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
At US Cellular, we think phones are great, but they're not always great for us. Because while they connect us to so much, they can also distract us from, well, us. The us that actually laughs out loud with each other instead of just texting it. That knows being in the same room doesn't always mean being together. So let's find us again by putting our phones down. Not forever, just for 5. 5 days, 5 hours, even 5 minutes. Join US Cellular in the Phones Down for 5 challenge. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
Woo! Got my nachos, got my big TV, and my favorite chair. It's game time. But the only thing that would make it a little better is if I could listen to my local broadcasters while watching the game.
Hello. You must have wished for your game to be synced with TV and radio.
I sure did.
Do you have a DVR?
You bet.
Do you have a streaming device?
Yeah.
Blammo! Your game is now synced. It's that easy.
Oh, boy.
To see if you can get synced, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield.
Syncmygame.com?
Syncmygame.com.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
We're back at the Hyatt Regency. Welcome, everybody, on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And our usual great crowd here. The crowds have been spectacular, Fran, all season long. We can't thank our live audience as well as our radio audience for being with us all year.
It's been awesome. It's such a great venue for it. Everybody's right up close, and it's been packed every week. We can't thank these guys enough.
Appreciate it. They're enjoying dinner here, courtesy of the great chefs at the Hyatt Edgewater Grill and Bar. Back to Twitter and Facebook here for a few minutes. Fran, Darrell sent this question in from Cedar Falls. Does the basketball program follow low, strict diet and nutrition guidelines, much like the football program does? And And what is Fran's favorite meal at home if Margaret is cooking? I don't know if that's a loaded question or not. Obviously, Daryl doesn't know about Margaret and her exquisite cooking skills.
Clearly, he didn't read Sports Illustrated because her apple dessert was featured in Sports Illustrated.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Outstanding. When was this? Recently?
No, this was a while ago.
Okay.
But it's helped us close a few recruits over the years. She breaks it out for recruits when they come.
Margaret, feel free to bring a sample of the cake out.
It's spectacular.
Well, I'm
but
sure
in terms of the diet
the
stuff,
program,
we have a nutritionist, Kira, and she's awesome, and she's got a great relationship with the guys. And the thing about nutrition, it's different for everybody. You got some guys trying to lose weight, some guys trying to gain weight, some guys are just trying to maintain weight. Some guys are younger, some guys are older. But essentially, you're trying to develop good habits. Not a lot of junk food.
Yeah.
When we're on the road, our nutritionist and our trainer, Brad Floyd, and our strength coach, Bill Maxwell, they'll pick the menu. We do a lot of pastas, salad, chicken, primarily when we're on the road. Breakfast is, pancakes and eggs, the usual.
Bacon.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, on that note here, Jim on Facebook. Hello, Coach. A softball question to lighten things up this evening. He's obviously heard about your love of pizza. Question for me, or from me to you, Coach, a deep dish or thin crust? Good luck this week. Go Hawks on Iowa.
Thin crust.
Thin crust.
But I wouldn't turn away deep dish. I love pizza.
You're going to be in one of the great cities.
My brother's here. He brought pizza from our favorite place in Philadelphia,
Hi,
Fran Zones.
From where?
From Philadelphia.
No,
he drove out. Fran Zones.
Fran Zones, okay.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Fran Zones.
Fran Zones in Philadelphia.
Now,
Yeah.
did we have that when we played at the Palestra?
No.
A few years ago?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
And he also he brought everything right to the plane, if you remember.
That's right.
Literally, they let him drive his car up to the plane when we pulled onto the tarmac, and he handed us the food right there.
International Airport. Yeah, sure, buddy. You got pizzas you're taking to the plane. Yeah, sure you do. You bet.
He must have had to grease somebody for that.
He had to know the security people at the fence.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Brandon, Coach, what do you think of Chris's season? Will he do the NBA draft process again before making a decision?
Yeah, I would say this. I think it's a foregone conclusion. I wouldn't be sitting around waiting for him to say, yeah, I'm going to make it. I think he's going to make a decision to go, kind of like Tyler Cook did, if you remember.
I do.
That's exactly how he handled it. And he was, he was ready to go mentally. And he was ready to deal with the consequences. Like, if I don't make it and I get a two-way, I'm going to work my way into the league, which is exactly what Tyler did. I was really proud of him, the way he handled that. I think there's a chance that, Chris could go higher, go in the first round. So, obviously, if he does that, that's a no-brainer. And you get accurate information now. So he'll know. They give you a slot. So, they'll say, okay, he's going to go, 45 to 60.
A range.
Or maybe 50 to 60, 40 to 45. 1 to 15, 15 to 30, stuff like that. So you'll know, because there was too many guys that were making mistakes back in the day. Their agents are telling them, "Oh, you're going to go in the first round," and they had no chance, and then they couldn't go back to school, and their whole career is ruined because they got bad advice. So that's why the NCAA started working with the NBA to make sure that that information that's provided to the student athlete who puts his name in knows, like, okay, you're not getting drafted, or you are definitely going in the first round. So many guys, are shocked, and they'll go anyway. One of the great things that was said to me was, from Keegan and Chris's agent, Mark Bartlestein's one of the best in the business. He said that the mistake a lot of guys make is they announce publicly they're going to bet on themselves and they're going to stay in the draft. Your best bet is to bet on yourself and go back to school and make sure of your draft position, which is what Chris did.
Sure.
Keegan knew he was going to go in top 5, he certainly wasn't going to go any lower than 7. and I thought all along he was going to go 4. Just my feeling, but all the teams I talked to and the amount of time that Sacramento spent following him. And they sent people up here. They spent the whole day. They talked to everybody in the building, the equipment manager, the strength coach, nutritionist, players, coaches, administrators. That's a major investment. And that's great because for a guy like Keegan, that's going to bode well. Because nobody in the building is going to say one negative thing about him. No. And they're going to invest, what will probably eventually be over $100 million when he signs his next contract. They don't want him getting in trouble and being a bad teammate, being a bad citizen, and representing the franchise negatively. Like this guy, we want to put him out in public. We want to get him to go speak to kids and speak to groups and sell the Sacramento Kings. So, that's going to be a major positive for him. And for Chris. The same thing will be for Chris.
Yeah, they obviously did their homework on Keegan, and he's delivering.
I've never seen anything like it. It's like they were, trying him out for the CIA.
12 points.
I think they talked to his, kindergarten teacher.
Well, you know what? At that level and with that kind of money,
it makes sense.
You can't make a mistake.
No,
in the first round,
and they've made a few.
Yeah,
and it happens.
Yeah, it does.
You misevaluate a guy, but you don't want to misevaluate his character.
No,
if you can help it.
And that's a pretty easy get with Keegan and/or Chris and the Murray family. But to go from the bottom of the Pacific Division to not
they got a good team,
bet, but they're going to be in the playoffs.
The other thing is, the other reason I thought I felt pretty certain they were going to take him is I looked at the roster.
Yeah.
Okay, who do they have? Who are they invested in? Well, the bulk of the money was invested in Sabonis and Fox and Harrison Barnes. Okay, then you had they signed some other guy, but like I'm thinking, okay, he fits right here where they need him, and he'll get 20, he'll get 26, and sometimes he'll get 9 or 11, but he doesn't demand 30 shots a game. He gets it within the framework of the offense. He makes open threes. He throws the ball to Sabonis and Fox, and everybody eats.
Everybody eats,
and that's what you want.
It's a good line.
Yeah.
At 12 points, 5 rebounds, and those numbers have been pretty consistent for him all season.
Yeah.
Coach, one more before we take a break here. Casey in Burlington asks, how and when is it determined if a jersey is retired and hung from the rafters at Carver Hawkeye? Is there a committee that discusses with input from coaches or players?
There's certain criteria, and there is a committee. Over the years, the unique part of that, Dolph, is it's been different. You go back to when they retired the jerseys of all 5 starters for the one team, and then you have the individual players that were great, and then we had a situation a couple of years ago where we retired Lucas on Senior Day.
That's right,
which is rare.
Yeah,
but deserved. I mean, the all-time leading scorer,
for sure,
2-time Big Ten Player of the Year, National Player of the Year, and then it's like, okay, well, how do we deal with Roy Marble and Chuck Darling? Because it was kind of loosely defined as you had to have, checked all these boxes to have consideration for jersey retirement. Well, that's all well and good, except that it wasn't always the case in our history. So you can't make
up the rules as you go.
So it's kind of like, you watch Iowa basketball for a lot of time. Like, okay, that guy deserves to get his number retired. That guy was great, but he's probably not going to have his number hanging from it. You look at guys like Bill Seberg and guys like that. They were special. And Greg Stokes. I mean, there's some great ones up there
for sure.
And I'm so happy that Roy's is up there.
Absolutely.
As you know, I got to know Roy really well. I mean, he was such a great supporter of me when I got this job, and of course, Dev came in that year. Roy was very instrumental in the previous staff recruiting him, and I had to, of course, re-recruit him. But I mean, he was special.
I remember
for
that
4 years. I knew he was special. I thought he was good when I watched him on film, and then I met him, and he was so impressive. But I remember we went down to Wake Forest early in that season for the ACC Challenge, and Bryce Cartwright gets hurt. And all right, Dev,
get in there.
You're my point guard. Let's go. And got it, coach. No biggie.
Did he flourish?
I can handle that. And then I played him at both spots. I really wanted to keep him at point for most of his career, which actually helped him because the pros are like, wait a minute, there's a 6'7" point guard. We love that. But then his senior year, I brought him in. I said, Dev, I need you to lead the Big Ten in scoring. Typically, you don't have to say that to anybody twice. Coach, I can do that.
You want me to shoot?
So I said, we want to throw it. We're going to get in. We're going to throw it ahead of you. You attack, and you pull, you drive it. He said, Coach, I can do that. And then he screwed up. He came in second.
Yeah, but I remember that NIT game at Oregon.
That was his sophomore year.
Unbelievable.
But the game that I remember was when we beat Michigan at home. We were ranked 17th. They were ranked 10th. It was a Saturday afternoon ESPN game. And he goes for 34. And
I forgot about
Beeline
that
walks up to me after the game and says, boy, did we screw that up. Because they didn't recruit him. He was from Detroit.
That's right. Beeline didn't recruit him.
He said, I screwed that one up. That's all he said.
Well, he probably had a little extra juice knowing that Michigan, his home state, is in town.
He was ready that day. That was one of those you just sit there and watch.
And enjoy.
Don't get in anybody's way. Dev's got it.
We're going to give you about a 10-minute break here. Okay. We're going to do a scoreboard. But when we come back, we're going to hear an interview I did yesterday. Now, his jersey isn't in the rafters, but he could shoot him from up there.
That's where they went. They went up and it came back down.
Chris Kingsbury was at the game yesterday, and I sat down with Chris, and we talked about the evolution of the three-point goal.
Which is really interesting. You think about it, like we shot 37 threes yesterday. You know, you would have to, when the rule first came in, you'd go 10 games. And maybe shoot 37.
And the team might have 37.
The whole team, yeah. It's just, it really has changed. And the pros, too.
Yeah, Chris could put 37 up in a game, though.
Yes, he could. I saw him in high school. I tried to recruit him when I was at Notre Dame. Yeah,
that's right.
I went to Hamilton, Ohio, to go visit him.
Greg Stokes.
Yeah.
He's from Hamilton.
Is he?
Well, yeah.
I didn't recruit him.
No.
That's he's old.
Stoker. He's a little older.
He's a little older.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, take a break, Coach. We'll come back with our remaining moments with Coach McCaffery a little bit later on. Let's pause 10 seconds right now for station identification. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency. We're coming right back shortly with more with Coach McCaffery, and we'll hear from former Hawkeye shooting great Chris Kingsbury, who starred at Iowa in the 90s. His son Carter is on the current Hawkeye roster. Tonight's Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery is sponsored by Bud Light. Bud Light was proud that so many Hawk fans came back to Carver Hawkeye Arena this year, each and every game day, including a sellout yesterday. Thank you so much. Bud Light is for the fans. We're going to be drawing for that $100 gift certificate, courtesy of Authentic Brand, for our favorite question or comment of the night on Facebook or Twitter. You still have time to get in. Hawk fans, if you buy your own health insurance, Wellmark is on your side and on the health insurance marketplace. Let's give it up for plans you can afford. Check out wellmark.com/hoops and compare plans. We'll have a U.S. Bank scoreboard when we return here to the Hyatt Regency and the Edgewater Grill and Bar. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we think phones are great, but they're not always great for us. Because while they connect us to so much, they can also distract us from, well, us. The us that actually laughs out loud with each other instead of just texting it. That knows being in the same room doesn't always mean being together. So let's find us again by putting our phones down. Not forever, just for 5. 5 days, 5 hours, even 5 minutes. Join U.S. Cellular in the Phones Down for 5 challenge. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now, kids can eat free.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Got my nachos, got my big TV, and my favorite chair. It's game time. But you know, the only thing that would make it a little better is if I could listen to my local broadcasters while watching the game.
Hello. You must have wished for your game to be synced with TV and radio.
I sure did.
Do you have a DVR?
You bet.
Do you have a streaming device?
Yeah.
Blammo! Your game is now synced. It's that easy.
Oh, boy.
To see if you can get synced, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield.
Syncmygame.com?
Syncmygame.com.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. Fran will rejoin us here in a few minutes. Let's take a look at our scoreboard from tonight, courtesy of U.S. Bank. Not a whole lot going on this Monday night. There are some conference, mid-major conference tournaments that are wrapping up around the country, both for men and women. The Sun Belt Championship went to Louisiana, defeating South Alabama 71-66. Oral Roberts won the Summit League title. Summit League semifinal round game, edging St. Thomas of Minnesota 70-65. In the CAA championship round semifinal, North Carolina Wilmington defeated Hofstra 79-73. In the Southland second round there, one final, McNeese beat Nichols 77-71. Of course, the Hawkeye women, Big Ten champions for a second straight year. Hopefully the men can make that claim this weekend in Chicago. But at the Target Center yesterday, Caitlin Clark with the first triple-double in the history of the Big Ten tournament title game led the Hawks to victory. Monica Sonano hit 11 of 12 shots en route to a big day, 27 points and a handful of rebounds. But what a weekend for Gabby Marshall and Kate Larson and Hannah Stolke off the bench and others. I thought Affolter had a terrific tournament as well. Excuse me. So the Hawks will work on their game, refine the finer points of their attack this week in practice, and then get ready for Selection Sunday when they find out where and when they play. They're the odds-on favorite, of course, to host the first round of the regionals a week from this weekend over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. So stay tuned for the latest there. Chris Murray, a Hawkeye junior forward, is one of 15 semifinalists for the Wooden Award, which is presented annually to the most outstanding player in college basketball. And Chris is one of 4 Big Ten players in the final 15, announced a couple days back. Zach Edey of Purdue, Jalen Pickett of Penn State, and Trace Jackson Davis of Indiana are the other 3. Of course, Chris can shoot threes with the best of them. Chris Kingsbury, who had no equal from deep range when he was at Iowa back in the early to mid-90s. Here's a guy who had 117 threes in one season. And he has watched the three-point shot evolve like we all have. And I asked him if he thought that three-pointer would be this popular in this day and age of college basketball.
I suppose so. It's kind of interesting. We talk about it all the time now, how much the game's changed in the last 30 years, however long it's been. But, yeah, I suppose in the early, mid-'90s, it was kind of just developing for all the guys to kind of utilize it and coaches to figure out, what the defenses are going to start to look like, how much spread out is everything going to get. So, I suppose, but, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, everybody, if you can't shoot it, you almost can't play now. So it's a fun game to watch, though.
I'm guessing when you were watching the Michigan State game a couple of weeks ago, brought back some great memories. How lightning quick the Hawks got back in that game.
Yeah, that was a great game. It was crazy. My 11-year-old had a game, so we left my house with 29 seconds left and put it on the radio. So we got to listen on the radio to the end of the game in overtime, and then I taped it. So, but yeah, to hit 5 straight threes, I think it was, and Michigan State made every free throw but the last one, so we just chipped away one at a time. But that's the beauty of the three-point line. That's what makes it fun, is you can dominate inside and get your twos, but if the other team's hitting threes, more often than not, they're going to win.
Among my many favorite memories of Chris Kingsbury was 32 points in 24 minutes against Northwestern, and then 30 on an outstanding UConn team up in the Great Alaskan Shootout. Was Dr. Tom's philosophy with you? It was, look, I know you can shoot it. You got the green light anywhere?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think Coach Davis, before me and after me, always coached that way. His 2 guards ran the left wing, and we ran, and if the point guard threw it to us, I was letting it go. So we didn't run a whole bunch of, it's kind of crazy, all the sets and things they got now. The things, the way the game's evolved with the down screen, re-screen, the flare screen, all the action that they can do, and we didn't have a whole lot of that. It was a lot of horns, 2-man high. Woolridge and Settles were kind of the guys run the pick and roll, and I just sit with my hands ready and catch when I got it. So, yeah, it'd be fun to play now, but like you said, it was kind of fun being kind of doing something that other guys didn't do as much, so that was probably to my advantage too.
Now, I always thought Freddie Brown, downtown Freddie Brown, had the deepest range of any Hawkeye I'd ever grown up watching until Kingsbury came along. Those were wonderful days. Today is too for Iowa basketball. But when you think of all the great shooters and your records, you had 9 threes in a couple different games. You had well over 100 threes in one season. And then along came Gatens and Bohannon, and I'm going to leave somebody out, but Iowa, Utah, Iowa's always been blessed with great shooters.
Yeah, I think that's been a big part of it. You kind of got to you give and take with what you got. So you got the defensive end, the offensive end. Iowa's even with Coach Davis or with Fran, they score points. Especially at home. But the last Indiana was nice, but they finally got it going. But so yeah, you got to be able to space the floor. Iowa's always had that. But, Caitlin's got the deepest range, so I don't know what it means to the rest of us, but she's fun to watch.
She's in and of herself. She might be the closest thing to Kingsbury in a female body, but that said, Bobby and I usually hang out with Carter on the plane rides. He's been a joy, your son. I hope you know that.
I really appreciate that. He's a good kid. He enjoys the grind, so if you enjoy that, it doesn't really matter what position you're in on the team, you're going to have a good time. So,
well, he'll knock you down on that scout team. Now, let me tell you, he gets after it. There's a reason these guys are as good as they are. But, Chris, great to see you as always, and thanks for being a Hawk.
All right, thanks, Dolph.
Chris Kingsbury, man, oh man, was he fun to watch a few years back, and he shows up in Iowa City often to watch his son Carter and the Hawkeyes play. It was great to see Chris. I remember the night he hung 30 on Connecticut in the Great Alaskan Shootout, just a phenomenal shooting performance. He scored 32 points in 24 minutes one game against Northwestern in his his sophomore year. He averaged like 17 points a game, a double-digit scorer for his entire career at the University of Iowa. Always great catching up with former great Hawks like Chris Kingsbury. We're at Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. Fran will be rejoining us here in a couple minutes. We'll get his club car wash keys to the game, really keys to success at the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. That's coming up. We're at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. And you can join us each and every week during Hawk Talk. This is our final Hawk Talk for this season, but I want to remind you to come on out and celebrate Easter with the gang here at the Hyatt Regency. It's called Breakfast with the Bunny on Saturday, April 8th from 10 until noon. Enjoy all your breakfast favorites, plus a pancake bar, made-to-order omelets, a cereal bar, and carved ham. There's also a bar for the adults to enjoy mimosas and Bloody Marys. Take photos with the kids and the Easter Bunny. Tickets can be purchased by calling the Hyatt team at 319-887-5004. More Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery coming up here, courtesy of Learfield.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/Iowans win.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I think you...
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus, all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender member FDIC.
At U.S. Cellular, we think phones are great, but they're not always great for us. Because while they connect us to so much, they can also distract us from, well, us. The us that actually laughs out loud with each other instead of just texting it. That knows being in the same room doesn't always mean being together. So let's find us again by putting our phones down. Not forever, just for 5. 5 days, 5 hours, even 5 minutes. Join U.S. Cellular in the Phones Down for 5 challenge. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. It's no wonder Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com named Honda the 2022 Best Value brand.
So get to your Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest.
Based on 2022 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information.
All right, we're back with our remaining moments with Coach Fran McCaffery on Hawk Talk. Thank you all for coming out here tonight in person, and thanks for tuning in all along the Hawkeye Radio Network. Time to get Fran's Club Car Wash keys to the game, presented by the official car wash of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Club Car Wash with unlimited membership starting at just $20 a month. There's no better time to join the club. Visit clubcarwash.com and find a location nearest you. Again, the Hawks will play the winner of Ohio State and Wisconsin on Thursday afternoon, and we'll take air around 12:30 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network with a tip scheduled for around 1:30. There is a game ahead of the Iowa game, so it will depend on that game getting over in that normal 2-hour window. But, Fran, since you don't know exactly who you're going to play, you certainly know Wisconsin and Ohio State very well. You played them, each team, twice this year. But let me go to Ken's question. Tough loss, Coach, to Nebraska. What adjustments, if any, are the most important going forward for this week and beyond in March Madness?
We just talked about it. I mean, we have to be more connected, especially if we double, which is a possibility in any game we play moving forward. Wisconsin and very different than Ohio State in terms of philosophy, how they play. You know what Wisconsin's going to do. You know, they're going to go the back down game. They're going to run some swing. They'll play a little slower. They let Chucky go a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's a handful, but then Wall and Crowell in the post, Klesmet, Esigian shooting threes. So, they got you spread out. So if you do double, they're going to skip it. You got to rotate, and you got to be able to guard the 3-point line, which we didn't do a good job of yesterday. Ohio State's a little different. Thornton's playing really well. I mean, he's averaging like 16, 17 a game over the last 5 or 6 games. Freshman, not playing like a freshman anymore.
For sure.
He and Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh is one of the best shooters in our league, one of the best shooters in the country. Unique game, 6'6", 235 at the 2-guard spot. Zed Key is out, so Okpara is playing a lot more. They're also playing Likely and Suing and switching everything, so they have that option. And remember, last game we played them, McNeil made every shot at 20 points. So both teams have, variety of weapons, differing styles, and we'll get it figured out Wednesday night who we play Thursday.
And, of course, hopefully Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just like last year. It's Coach McCaffery's Club Car Wash keys to the game. One more break to get in here, and we'll come back and wrap up our Hawk Talks for the year with Coach McCaffery. We're also going to draw for the grand prize package as presented by the Hyatt Regency for those of you who registered and showed up each and every week. Hopefully you can all be on the edge of your seats when we draw that winning name here in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Fran from Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
At U.S. Cellular, we think phones are great, but they're not always great for us. Because while they connect us to so much, they can also distract us from, well, us. The us that actually laughs out loud with each other instead of just texting it. That knows being in the same room doesn't always mean being together. So let's find us again by putting our phones down. Not forever, just for 5. 5 days, 5 hours, even 5 minutes. Join U.S. Cellular in the Phones Down for 5 challenge. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
We got a winner here, Louise from Monroe Street in Iowa City, who's been here every week. Coach reached in and drew Louise's name out of the bucket. She wins a nice prize package from the Hyatt Regency. All just short of a standing ovation for Louise. We've had a lively group out here every week. Many of your friends, people that we know, great Hawk fans, season ticket holders, those that come to 2 or 3 games. We want to thank them eternally for their support of the Hawks.
Absolutely. I mean, the same folks that come here come to every game, and we just can't thank them enough for being here and supporting us. And you're right, Dolph. It's been a lot of fun this year. The place has been packed pretty much every night.
It has, thanks to Matt and the staff here. Matt and Matt, as I like to say, and the bartenders and the wait staff. And we thank our sponsors, too, like Authentic Brand. Brandon is the winner of the $100 gift certificate tonight from Authentic Brand, a proud partner not only outfitting our broadcast crew on game day, but thousands of fans as well. Gear up for game day and every day. An officially licensed Hawkeye apparel and accessories from Authentic Brand. Coach, I know you're a big baseball fan. I want to get this in before we say goodnight. The Hawks are 9-1. Won a big tournament in Alabama this weekend, and Coach Heller and the Hawkeyes will host 27 games at Banks Field this coming spring and summer, including multiple Big Ten weekend series. Series tickets and custom mini plans are now on sale. Visit HawkeyeSports.com. We know Connor's an outstanding baseball player. Cody on Twitter, what's been the best part about coaching Connor, and do you think he's a future coach himself?
I do. It's been awesome on so many different levels. Certainly watching him develop to where he is able to legitimately play all 5 positions and be the ultimate leader in the locker room and on the floor. Just his complete skill set is on display every night. Points, rebounds, assists, no
steals.
Turnovers, steals. I mean, his numbers are just astounding. But I think, he and Jordan are tied for the most wins ever in a Hawkeye uniform. So it just really speaks to his ability to be a winner. And as a result, I give him a lot of freedom on the floor. Mm-hmm. He can call plays and he can change stuff if he wants to. And the guys are, all bought in and listen to him. When he speaks, they listen. So he's definitely going to be a coach.
111 victories that he's been a part of, as you mentioned, over 500 career assists. That's 7th all-time at Iowa. And I think I was looking at his numbers yesterday, 700 and some odd career points. So he has been the complete package. We got about 30 seconds. I want to work Wilson's tweet in here. Fran, how much harder is it to prepare for a road game or neutral site game compared to a home game?
Well, it's pretty much the same. You're going to give them the same scouting report information, same preparation. I mean, it's harder to play on the road.
Different environment.
It's different environment. Fans are on you. But our guys, they're used to that and they handle it pretty well.
Coach, Bobby and I have enjoyed our visits each week. Thanks so much for coming out tonight.
Absolutely. You really enjoy it, Dolph, and let's do it again next year.
All right, Coach. And thank you all for listening in this season on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency and the Edgewater Grill and Bar. We'll see you in Chicago at the United Center. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from the Hyatt Regency, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, brought to you by Hyatt Regency, caring for people so they can be their best. Bud Light, it's for the fans. Brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Hy-Vee, score big savings at HyVeeDeals.com. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular, take the phones down for 5 challenge. Visit uscellular.com/fines to learn more. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.